Hello, Planeswalkers. Welcome to the Lotus Archives, the heart of arcane knowledge and the realm of Magic the Gathering. Guided by the sages at KLVD Studios, embark on a journey through ancient scrolls and powerful spells. From deck-building enchantments to legendary battlefield stories, we bring you the wisdom and wonder of Commander. Whether you're a master mage or just tapping into your powers, the mysteries of the multiverse are yours to discover. Let the magic begin.
Hello, Planeswalkers! Welcome back to our next episode of the Lotus Archives. This week, this is going to get a little bit of a heated discussion. I know Jack and I both agree somewhat on this, but
for the most part, I think so.
But we want to start talking about the whole Universes Beyond, Secret Lair, BS. Because we just had announced, and I'm going to put these right on the screen, right below us, Sonic the Hedgehog Secret Lair. And it's a super drop. So,
oh yeah. They're super alright. They're super bonkers.
So you got 7 cards, and they're all brand new frickin' cards. And you got Super State, which is a fucking crazy ass enchantment. Aura. You got Knuckles, who, if you're running frickin' treasures, it's a staple. You're gonna need him. Amy Rose is a pretty good equipment commander. Dr. Eggman, he is gonna be a very interesting artifact robot style commander. Tails is okay.
He's good for vehicles. He's got a cool, card draw thing if they have flying, or they can make them
put
fly.
Flyers. Yeah, it's interesting.
I think he'd be good in the 99.
Yes, he'll be better in the 99. And then the two big ones. You got Shadow and Sonic. These cards are both respectively fucking great.
They're pretty insane, yeah.
I mean, Sonic, for instance, he is 1 blue, red, white for a 2/4 Hedgehog Warrior, obviously. And he has haste.
Of course.
And his ability is gotta go fast. Whenever Sonic attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with flash or haste. And then it reads, whenever a creature you control with flash or haste is dealt damage, create a tapped treasure token.
That is a cool little nod to
the rings,
game, dropping coins.
That's kind of cool.
That is a cool little homage. And one of the other secret layers does have a treasure token. That is the gold
Sonic
ring.
So,
yeah, that is kind of cool. I like how they're
I know
it's neat.
If I built him up, if I end up getting the secret lair, which I'm gonna attempt to do, just because I love fucking Sonic, I will 100% be making treasure tokens that are just the rings. And I'll get them custom built just for those decks. But then we got Shadow. This
is the one I think a lot of people are going to be gunning for and being excited about.
Yeah, this card is fucking great. Not to mention the artwork is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's 2 black and 2 red for a 4/2 Hedgehog Mercenary with haste. And he reads, whenever Shadow or another creature you control with flash or haste dies, draw a card. Okay. That's not horrible.
That's pretty good.
Then his main ability, Chaos Control. Each spell you cast has split second if mana from an artifact was spent to cast it. What the fuck?
Yep. That's pretty insane.
So, Jack, why don't you explain to everybody why that's actually so freaking good?
A split second is thankfully, Shadow does have a reminder text on it. As we don't see split second too often. We see it every now and then on very unique cards. Basically, as long as it's on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. So essentially, while a card with split second is on the stack, you can't do anything until it resolves its ability.
Nope.
So once it's done its thing, then you have a moment to do something. But say, my first thought with this was, I'll just cast a huge Torment to Hailfire. Right? Like, I'll just play a huge, big X spell like Exsanguinate or something like that after making a bunch of treasure through the course of doing things, and then just call it a day. Right? Like, my first thought with this guy is to put him in my Prosper deck.
Yeah. I was thinking that's what you would do with him.
Yeah, it makes treasure every time I cast a card from exile. It's the same colors, it's the same setup. And, I make all those treasures, and then I can cast a big X spell from exile or from wherever. Give it split second from the treasure mana. Because as long as you use at least one treasure to cast part of that spell, that's it. It gets a split second. From what I'm reading on him, if mana from an artifact was spent to cast it, then you're good. So even if you've got one treasure or one Soul Ring, which we all play Soul Ring to cast a lot of spells, there you go. You're basically going to give everything split second. Every spell, not just instants or sorceries like we've seen most of the cases get that effect. No, it's anything you cast now can have that. So I think Shadow's going to be the big, selling point, the big driving force.
Yeah.
This. Despite how good, the other cards are good, right? I don't think there's a too terrible pick out of this.
No, and mind you, it's not just the legendary creatures in this secret lair drop. Yeah. That's just the friends and foes. So
yeah.
I'll put the next one on there and we'll talk about it briefly. This one I'm not as annoyed at that it's a secret lair because these are reprints.
Yep.
They're just reskinned. So these I don't mind as much, but then you got the turbo gear. So you have Knuckles gloves, which they are the Reaver Cleaver. You got
That's Swift. A good reprint.
Yep. You got Swiftfoot boots as air shoes.
Love to see those.
Yep. You got Mirror Battle Sphere as Egg Hammer. Then you got the Hammer of Nazan as the Pico hammer. You got Lightning Greaves as Power Sneakers. You got the Weatherlight as Tornado Sonic Spyplane. That's cool. The artwork is sweet.
Pretty cool.
And then you got Mirror Tokens as Egg Pawns. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Those were obnoxious in the video games. I hated those things.
Oh my god, they're horrible. But then the last one, you have Chasing Adventure. And so you have Generous Gift in there. You have Open the Armory. You have Fabricate. Deadly Dispute. Unexpected Windfall. Soul Ring. And Treasure Token.
That Soul Ring is bonkers.
The Soul Ring is fucking great. It's Sonic diving through a frickin' ring. And then the Treasure Token, it is a golden ring.
Of course.
The only downside to it is you only get one.
Yeah.
You would think that they would allow you to say, you know what, I want to get 20 of these treasure tokens or whatever. But
I mean, theoretically speaking, you wouldn't really need.
No, because you could put a token
little cool
on
art wall or something for it, but
yeah.
The price ranges on these are interesting. I know we're gonna see a few other videos people make of like, are they worth it? Is it worth to get these?
I mean, since these are up right now, we have the Chasing Adventure. The non-foil version is listed at $30.
Yep. That's the reprints. Yeah, the reprints both are coming in at $30.
Yeah, and I'm not too upset about the price on that.
I'm just not sure if the value is
there.
Because like Deadly Dispute and Unexpected Windfall aren't exactly pricey instants, and we've seen Fabricate and stuff dip down. Like they're all below $10.
Yeah,
so
you're paying for the artwork here.
That's really what it is you're paying for the art style, which the artwork on these is all beautiful. Like the Deadly Dispute with Shadow there.
Oh, dude, that's one of my favorite pieces.
Yeah.
The unexpected windfall with Knuckles. I wish they used that artwork for the
For
Knuckles
his
card.
card art, yeah.
Like,
'Cause
that's
he's just standing
gorgeous.
there like a badass.
But with
Bro's
all
just
that
like,
being
fight me.
yeah, with all that being said, that's leading us into our main talking point we wanted to talk about today.
No.
And
Are there too many?
that's
Is this
with
too much?
the secret layers. And we'll start with the secret layer stuff. Now, I am personally fine with secret layer. What I'm not a fan of is what they're doing with the friends and foes. They're bringing us brand new cards to Magic and putting it into the hands of scalpers.
Yeah.
Realistically, we'll probably be able to get the reprints. But the Shadow, Sonic, Tails, Eggman, Amy, Knuckles, and Super State, there's a good
Yeah,
chance
those are gonna go up.
those are going to sell out before most people can even get them. And my mindset is with Secret Lair, they need to go back to how they originally had Secret Lairs. Give us a week or two to place an order and then go print them and then send them out. I don't care if it takes me 3 months to get the cards. I don't like being screwed out over getting a card that I want because scalpers immediately grabbed them and then listing them for 3 to 4 times the amount
Yeah.
because they
Well, we
have
saw that
computer
with
programs.
the Final Fantasy set saw that a bunch, and that ties us into the universes beyond, oversaturation and all these, these different sets and stuff of these different IPs coming out, causing these huge price inflations where it basically almost got to the point where you can't really go to any other store to get these for their MSRPs anymore.
No.
I tried going to my local Target, my local Walmart over the past couple of weeks, and I couldn't find a single one of these anywhere. They were cleared out, off the shelf, gone for $70. And you go to your local game store, and they're selling bundle boxes for over $100.
Exactly. Which is insane.
My issue with these, and I love seeing new IPs. I love seeing Universes Beyond. I love seeing Lord of the Rings. I did enjoy the Final Fantasy stuff. I'm a big fan of 7. I love seeing those. I'm super stoked for Avatar. I think it's going to be cool as hell. But there's too many, I think. I think we're having too many too frequently.
Yes.
Is my hot take on this, is that we just had Final Fantasy, and now we have Avatar later this year.
And that comes into when we were talking last year about the timeline of the sets that we're getting. Yeah. And I pulled it up earlier, and we did this episode of last year. I forget when we did it last year. Based on when this article was written, it was probably back in October we did this one. And we were talking how Ether Drift was coming out, Tarkir, Final Fantasy in July, Edge of Eternity is in August, Spider-Man in the spring, and then there was one unannounced Universes Beyond. Well, we found
I
out.
completely forgot about Spider-Man too. Now we got Spider-Man as well.
And
see, I love Spider-Man, but this is what I'm talking about.
The Universes Beyond that was unannounced, we now know that it is Avatar. I am pumped for it, but it leads into our biggest complaint. I know Jack and I agree on this for the most part. Is there's too many Universes Beyond sets that are now standard legal. This year, we had 6 sets drop. 3 of them aren't even Magic's own IP.
No.
Final Fantasy, Spider-Man, Avatar. And I'm sitting here like, I want to go back and see more Magic.
Yeah, like more in-universe stuff, I think, is our biggest take on these. Now, again, this isn't to, hate on or bash the idea of doing these Universes Beyond.
I love it, the idea.
I think we're both huge fans of them, and, we got this article that shows the universes and aligning them and making, having these come into standard sets, I think, is what's been very interesting and kind of not exactly all over the place, but it's been causing some strain on stuff.
I think
And the reason for it is very interesting.
I think the biggest issue hardcore old school players are having with this Universes Beyond is it's not that we're getting them. It's taking away from Magic, the universe itself.
Right.
I obviously the Lord of the Rings set to this date,
beautiful.
It's still one of my favorite sets of all time.
Absolutely.
The Final Fantasy set, I've yet to be able to find anything on it. Scalpers are insane with that set. And it was a standard legal set. Why am I not able to find a freaking booster pack of this set
For a decent
under
MSRP
$10
price? Even the commander decks for this one, I think this is probably what's getting it into the spotlight a little bit, is the commander decks themselves were, or even are, extremely overpriced on the secondhand market. Their MSRPs aren't, meant to be that high. However, if you go to your local game store or wherever, you're going to try to get some of them for over $100+.
Mm-hmm.
Even the cloud deck that I grabbed was like $120.
Yeah, it's insane.
And I dropped that cash on that. I dropped that hardcore. I'll admit I'm part of the problem. Because we keep dropping the money on it, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it all comes...
I 100% agree that I was part of the problem with that one.
Like, I've yet to buy anything for Final Fantasy. Like, I was at Walmart today, and it was the first time since the set released. Granted, it's only been out for a little over 2 weeks now, give or take.
Yeah.
But
I think, it came out earlier this month.
Came out on the 13th.
About 2 to 3 weeks.
And
so
today,
it hasn't been very long.
Today, mind you.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
2 weeks have passed since, almost 3 at this point, have passed.
Yep.
And it's the first time that I've even seen a single booster pack.
Yep.
At Walmart, Target, Barnes & Noble, any of my local stores.
Now, do you think this is a result of it being a standard set, or because it's Final Fantasy?
I am 100% convinced it's scalping.
Well, why do you think they're scalping it? Because it's standard, because it can be a standard legal set, or because it's just we're just big Final Fantasy fans?
Final Fantasy, 100%.
I'd say it's a mix of both. To be honest, like if this wasn't a standard legal set, if this was just like some commander stuff and maybe some random packs of this here, or even like a secret layer or whatever, I'm not sure it would have kicked off. I mean, Final Fantasy is huge.
See, that's where I disagree. Because look at Warhammer. You just had decks. You just had commander decks.
Yeah, Warhammer was just the commander decks.
It took me about a year to find a single Necron Dynasty deck. A year.
That's true.
And I just happened to find it as the guy from the holding company was stocking it at Target. Took me a year. Because I refused to buy it higher than MSRP.
Right.
I think...
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go to... I just looked it up just for shits and giggles. If you wanted to grab from TCG Player the Necron Dynasty's commander deck, $210.
Yeah.
That's
a sealed one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think the biggest issue with the Final Fantasy is the scalpers. Because... Yeah. And I don't think it has anything to do with the players. Because from people I've talked to, I've talked on Reddit, I've talked to at my LGS upstate here, and people I've talked at Target. The Target that I go to in Wilton, one of the guys knows me very well, one of the front-end managers, and he knows I'll come in and I'll just see what they have. And he knows I won't buy any of the bullshit stuff. And
right.
I'll walk in the door, and if he sees me, and he'll just flat out tell me, he's like, hey, man, sorry, they're not here. We don't have any in stock.
Yep.
Because he knows what I'm looking for. And I'm just looking for, certain sets that I'm not huge fans of. I'll just go grab a one of the bundle boxes. The booster box there with the 10 packs and all that. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Like Tarkir, I obviously bought a box. I wanted those cards. But with Final Fantasy, I've been being told by the employees of the Walmart and Target that these guys, the scalpers, and it's obvious that they're scalpers, are coming and following the guy from the holding company that stocks all those cards. They follow him. As soon as he is done, they buy everything.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've seen it at Walmart and stuff. They go and they know when the shelves get restocked, and they'll just sit there and wait.
Yeah.
And then as soon as those boxes hit that shelf, they scoop them up, and then they're gone, spending thousands and thousands of dollars.
And like I've
just
seen
to
these
resell in the secondhand market.
Like I've seen these guys do it, and it's obvious they don't actually play the game. Like, especially the guys doing it with the Pokemon. Like
Pokemon is gross with that one.
It's like, come on.
I'd say
dude.
probably there's probably a small handful that actually enjoy playing the game and want to just get there quick to get them before the other guys. For sure, though, it is just a matter of like they know it's a high value item. They know it's a huge IP.
Mm-hmm.
They know people are huge fans of it, which I think was probably the biggest thing with Final Fantasy. I know we didn't see it with any of the other.
Well, we didn't really see it with Lord of the Rings too much. We saw it at first with Lord of the Rings because of the whole One Ring thing.
Yeah, that was the whole One Ring bit was.
We saw it at first with the One Ring, which I was fully expecting that to happen.
Oh yeah,
but
as
the
way
soon
they
as
printed it,
as soon as Post Malone pulled that or bought it, all of a sudden you're able to find the booster packs and everything on the shelves again. Yeah. I think with Final Fantasy, people know how big of a franchise it is. They know they're gamers. They know they're gonna be able to sell that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely,
that's why you still can't really find it. But with that being said, that is why I am personally against these Universes Beyond sets being standard legal. Granted, I don't play standard myself, but for those that play standard, I see the frustrations.
Yeah.
Because a booster box usually is anywhere between 120 and 150 bucks for a full box of 36 packs. If you're one of the guys that just likes pulling the packs to build your standard rotation, why the fuck would you go spend almost $300 for a box?
Right.
Like, I see the frustrations because these guys that are hardcore in the standard, they're not able to get their hands on the cards to be able to play.
Standard is an expensive set as it stands, just with the rotations and how you have to keep on rebuilding and changing and structuring your decks to fit their metas. It's been an issue, right? It's like, the reasoning for bringing these Universes Beyond into these formats is interesting. Their biggest one is new players,
which I appreciate.
So the big reason they are adding these, like, why it's not just commander decks or things like that like it used to be, is to bring new players into these formats, which I totally get, and it works. As you can see, like, with Avatar and Final Fantasy, you can see there's likely an influx in standard players and modern players using these their favorite IPs and stuff like that. And some of the other veteran players can. It seems like they're saying can appreciate the reduction straight to modern sets, which can, affect that. I mean, for us two, at this, we just play Commander, right? Like, we're just pure EDH Commander guys, so that aspect I don't think affects us too much, except in the sense that it makes the cards more expensive, because now they're being defined not by just, are they good Commander decks, or are they good, in this set. For us, now they're pricey as hell, and they're being used and determined by the metas in Standard, Modern, and Legacy. Primarily Standard.
Yeah.
Though. Like, meta-defining cards are gonna skyrocket
I mean, could you imagine
because of that.
if the Dungeons and Dragons sets were standard legal? You wouldn't have been
That
able to
would have
find
been
them on the
insane.
shelves.
No.
Like, there's a reason why they weren't legal in standard.
Right.
They wanted to bring the
So-
Dungeons and Dragons players into Magic.
Exactly. I mean, the only thing I would like to see, or that I wouldn't mind about these so much, is if they shifted back to a more, they're just these fun little commander decks or side secret layers here and there that come out maybe twice a year or something like that. Well, secret layer maybe twice a year, commander decks maybe once.
Like,
And then return to block sets and do a return to form of what in-universe lore should be or could be.
yeah, like,
Right.
my biggest thing, I differ a little bit on your mindset with that. The secret layers, go wild. I don't give a shit. But, with that being said, if you're going to make exclusive cards, make them print to order. Not, once they're gone. Because
Right.
I know, chances are, I'm not going to be able to get that Friends and Foes Sonic pack because it's going to be sold out in seconds.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the FOMO. It's a great business tactic to get money quick. It's not great feeling for the consumer.
No.
I'm
But,
not a big fan of it. As a consumer, I don't like FOMO.
God no. But,
Can't stand it.
in terms of actual sets, why the fuck do we have so many that are Universes Beyond? If you want to do one set a year, and I'm fine with it being a full set, too.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the Final Fantasy and the Lord of the Rings and the Dungeons and Dragons being a full set with a 36 card booster pack. All that. I'm fine with that. But make it once a year. With Spider-Man and Avatar, they're taking up a slot now that could have been used for Zendikar, or that could have been used to go to Ravnica again, or
Yeah,
go
or
anywhere.
I'm not sure people are too keen to jump back to Ravnica. We've been there
No.
quite a bit.
No,
Something
it was
like Ixalan or Amonkhet or...
well, we were just at
make
Ixalan
a
last
new
year,
set.
but
Yeah, Ixalan was just last year, so I think we're doing that. You could do Ikoria.
yeah,
You could go back to the big beasties. We could do anything. Introduce a new big bad villain thing. Like the Phyrexians were just taken care of, and now we've got racing, and we're going into space, and
like
to
me,
we just had Tarkir. Tarkir could have been a full 3-block set.
yeah,
I want the blocks to come back. I want to have these cool, big, epic stories, and they could have done that. They could have stretched out the Tarkir set with these big dragons and this huge storm, and Elspeth doing her thing.
like
We just don't see lore stories anymore.
Like I was truly annoyed when I saw when we first did the episode on the sets for 2025, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute, we have Ether Drift, Tarkir,
Yep.
Edge of Eternities. We're getting 3 sets in lore. I'm like, there's no way they're going to be able to actually tell a story. And
Yeah, I'm not sure how you can go from big crazy dragon storm to now we're in space, and there's like horror movie references. I saw an article I read somewhere where they're hinting at bringing slivers back
okay,
and making them a reference to xenomorphs.
okay,
But the characters in that we've seen a couple spoilers for, reference them from a horror movie they saw in Edge of Eternity. So there's movies in Magic's lore that the characters on the cards can watch the movies and
I mean, I can understand
reference
that.
the thing. So
They're trying to bring the lore more into it.
it's
and
cool.
The stories.
And it does make sense. It's a multiverse, right? Like anything can exist.
Yeah.
We can have a wide expanse of literally anything being anything, which I'm all for.
But my thing that just bothers me is I want actual cohesiveness with the stories.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I first started really, truly playing and getting into the game, you had Amonkhet. That was a 2-block set. the first set was, I believe it was Nicol Bolas.
Yep, he was doing
building up his power and all that.
Yep.
And then the second part of the set was the not the Gatewatch. Yeah, the Gatewatch. Pretty much.
No, Gatewatch was was Zendikar.
Okay.
It was like War of the Spark. It all led up to War of the
Spark.
Spark.
And everything led up to War of the Spark. And it was like a fucking Avengers.
Basically, yeah. It was like a huge superhero movie.
And War of the Spark was great.
Grips. The trailers for it were insane.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of miss. I kind of miss the old like trailers for these.
It almost feels beauty. Yeah, it almost feels like what Magic is doing now is what Marvel with the MCU is doing. Like MCU, the first couple of phases were great. All the stories tied together. They all concluded with a big bad movie with everyone coming. Yep. Now you look at the last two phases of the MCU. There's, from an average viewer, there's no cohesiveness.
They're kind of all over the place.
Yeah. And it started after the Infinity War saga. So
yeah. Ever since then, it just hasn't, like, the first couple things were solid, but that's...
Like, I'll be honest, I haven't watched anything after the Infinity War saga, just because the movies, they look stupid. Besides Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Tom Holland is an amazing Peter Parker. But, like...
I don't know, I miss, like, the 3-block sets. Like, when I first started playing, we had Ravnica, and we were there for, like, that year. Like, that year was a Ravnica year.
Yeah.
You know? And then the year after was, like, you know, going someplace else and doing a whole adventure in that area. It was like back to Zendikar, and we did a whole set there, and then it was a whole set elsewhere. And
that's how it should be.
I just like to, you know, you don't have to do them as frequently, but like maybe something along those lines.
Like, I would be perfectly happy.
Would be cool
if each year we went to 2 planes.
Mm-hmm.
Each of them got 2 sets.
Yep.
And then in the middle of the year, we had a big Universe Beyond set right around Christmas.
Yeah. You could do that.
Or
that'd be cool.
The first set of the year. Do it right around Christmas or the end of the year.
Get your holiday sales Beyond. Up, absolutely.
And
make it whatever the hell you want.
And now, mind you, we're just 2 random-ass guys from New York talking
Pretty
about
much.
this. Obviously, I don't have the numbers.
No.
But as a fan of Magic, I want to see... This is what I want to see. Like, freaking, it'd be great in 2026. We got the timeline come October-ish when we do this again.
Yeah,
and
whenever it happens to pop out.
And we see first 2 sets of the year in February and in April. We're going back to Ikoria. Then we get 2 more sets. We're going to Zendikar. And then the last set of the year, or then we get, even if it's 4 main sets and then 2 UB, I'd be happy. Give us a smaller UB, like the Assassin's Creed and like what Spider-Man's going to be. And then give us that big UB.
Like Final Fantasy.
Like Final Fantasy, Lord of the Rings. And make that the last set of the year. Bump up your sales for the holiday season. Because that last set is right around November. But what the fuck do I know?
Right. That's the other thing, too, is that we're just, you know, the most, like, simple, casual players. Just your, you know, run-of-the-mill fans spitting out their 2 cents. Because honestly, we are getting these audiobooks and stories of Edge of Eternities, which I definitely need to check out.
That's pretty cool. I'm interested in that.
That's where we heard of. That's where I saw a snippet of, you know, them talking about potentially revealing a return of Slivers, and I know in a recent spoiler thing we did see an Eldrazi.
Did we really
come back? So. But I do love this enchantment we have, which is Zothira, the Super Void.
Yeah, we talked about it last time. I'll put it back up on the screen here for us.
It's cool. So we are getting some really cool stuff this year. It looks like, their final set is going to be Last Airbender, and it does seem like Spider-Man is going to be quite small.
Yes. So from what I've been reading, Spider-Man is going to be similar to how the Assassin's Creed set was. So the boxes you're going to be able to buy, they only have 12 to 15 packs in it instead of the 36.
Right.
So with that being said, it's probably about a 111 card set. I think what Assassin's Creed was.
I'm a little surprised we don't have more revealed for it. Yeah, like we've only had those 6 cards revealed from like last year, and there's not really been much other like talk about what's there.
Yeah, that kind of surprises me too. Assassin's Creed was 110 cards exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking Spider-Man's gonna be.
Alright, I mean, I was kind of expecting it to just be like their last Marvel type of deal, where it was just the maybe 10 to 12 cards of the big villains and some
No,
big name
so
drops, but looks like it's gonna be a full set.
yeah,
For the most
it's gonna
part.
be a partial
Or like a
set.
mini set.
Um,
Yeah.
we are already told that there's gonna be no commander decks.
Alright.
The full art or previews were supposed to start back in March, but we only got like 4 or 5 cards. It's
It'll be
literally only had
very
6 cards
interesting.
spoiled.
Right.
Okay, so
Which they could cut down on these a little bit. I think they can maybe downgrade the
okay, so
amount of it.
I'm wrong. The booster boxes, they're gonna be 30-pack booster boxes.
Oh, all right, that's pretty cool for Spider-Man.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a full set.
All right.
It's not gonna be like Assassin's Creed. It looks like, because right now Amazon has them pre-ordered the boxes or the booster box for $209.
Of course.
Collector's booster is gonna be $38. The bundle is at $70, which I'm not too much of a fan of.
That
And
seems to be the going MSRP for those, because you can get bundles at like Target, Walmart, Amazon. You can get those for like $70.
yeah,
It seems to be the going rate for most bundles these days. At least for the UBs. For the Universes Beyond,
Yeah.
it seems like that's...
I was gonna say because the regular sets are right around 45.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, especially with cards.
Yeah.
With packs being $7 to $10.
Yeah.
And you get 9 boosters packs in a bundle. But they are doing scene boxes with this one, just like they did with the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. All right.
And those
That's
scene
kind of
boxes,
cool, I guess.
yeah. The scene box is gonna come with 6 borderless cards to make up the scene,
Right.
and then 3 boosters.
All right.
Which is cool. It's cool. I'm about the set. I'll probably wait to see more spoilers before I say, I'm buying a booster box of this. Because realistically, the cards that were spoiled, I'm not like, holy shit, I need to make a commander deck out of this. Doc Ock is
some of them
interesting, but not very practical in Demir. Venom is cool. Obviously, Spider-Man's cool. But I'm just not sold on it. Not yet, at least. But the one thing I
We do
know...
have a return to Lorwyn.
I was just
is
going to say.
rumored.
So,
Yeah.
we were originally
If
supposed
that's
to go...
the case,
Oh, we're 100%
that'd be
going
cool.
back to Lorwyn. But
all right.
it's not a set like you think it is. So we were supposed to get this Lorwyn set this past January. They switched it out
Okay.
with... Where the fuck did we go January? It wasn't Ravnica Remastered. It was...
We had Innistrad Remastered.
Innistrad Remastered.
Yeah.
So-
we had Innistrad, which I love seeing. I love seeing Innistrad Remastered.
Yes.
Innistrad was my first set.
So,
seeing
what-
that come back was cool.
Yeah. So what they're doing, essentially, the first set of every year in January is a remaster set. So we had the Ravnica remastered 2 years ago.
Yep.
We had Innistrad remastered this year. Next year, we're going to have the Lorwyn remastered. It's supposed to come out end of January.
These are coming with... It seems like they're trying to do reprints of these to help with the pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. Though I'm worried they're like... I mean, you can't... It's a card game with... It's not like a video game that can get remastered. You know, like, we have... Last of Us remastered 15 times. Like, it's not the same thing. That's not how this works. Why not just give us a full block set or a full set?
I think
with a new story.
Yeah. I think what they're... Like, well, when they first did, like, Ravnica remastered, or Dominaria remastered was the first one. When they first did that, they did it this... Ooh, excuse me. Started talking too fast and losing air.
Yeah. Excited.
When they did the Dominaria remastered, that was the same year that we went back to Dominaria.
Yep.
When they did the last Ravnica remastered, we went back to Ravnica that year. So,
yeah,
maybe we might get lucky, and maybe we're going to be going back to Lorwyn this year.
That would be cool. Get some new elf love.
Because...
Elf love and merfolk love, probably.
The fact that the Lorwyn got pushed back a year has my brain spinning, because the Innistrad remastered set didn't make sense compared to the Ravnica and the Dominaria remastered. Because we got both of those the set before the main set released.
Right.
So, what I'm thinking might have happened this year is they got word that they were able to do Spider-Man and Final Fantasy was ready. Because they've apparently been working on Final Fantasy for a couple years now. So, what probably happened is they got word that, oh, this Final Fantasy set is done. We can launch it.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else got pushed back. That's why I think
sense, yeah.
That's why I think Ether Drift looks out there, as well as Edge of Eternities and Tarkir. The timelines got messed up on their releases.
That's very likely.
I'm hoping that's what it is.
Seems to be the case.
I'm hoping that's the case, because it would be pretty freaking cool to get a new Lorwyn set. And I'll be honest with you, I want to go back to Ikoria, because I didn't really get to experience it that much, because I was right at the beginning of COVID, I think. Right when I kind of stopped playing for a little bit.
It was around that time, yeah.
Yeah, because...
I just remember there being a bunch of Godzilla stuff, which I love seeing Godzilla stuff.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So but that aspect of it is cool. If you're gonna do like side things where it's like a collab, to have cards in the set be printed one way, but then have them be like alternate arts and stuff, almost like Secret Lair, but they're in the set.
Well,
and you can pull them out of boxes. Like, that's cool.
We did it with Godzilla. We did it with Jurassic Park, with The Last Ixalan. Like, to me, I like those, because I could pull them from a random box.
Yeah, that totally works. Because you're still doing, like, in-universe stuff, but with a side little, flavor for IP enjoyers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good way to get a mix of both.
Well, the last Innistrad, we had the Dracula stuff.
Yep. Which, that makes sense. You gotta do the old horror style things with that, which totally tracks and was very cool to see.
Yeah.
So.
But
it's a lot, but then also it's a touchy, heated subject. A lot of people don't really care to discuss it, and some of them think it's just going to be what it is, and we're just going to roll with the punches and see what comes out of it, see what the next year holds. We already know what the rest of this year looks like.
Yeah, we'll probably...
I am excited to see what the commander decks look like for Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah. So what are your speculations?
What we're saying about it?
Because I think we are getting 4.
We should definitely be getting 4. I would hope to see. I want to see a Sozin Firelord style deck that's likely red and black. As you know, Sozin was just an absolute badass. You know, voiced by Mark Hamill, one of the most incredible villains to ever be a villain in an old cartoon like that. Yeah, I mean, we didn't ever really see his face for the longest time. They did that old kind of style of, like, you don't know what this guy looks like, you don't know who he is. He's kept in the background for, like, half the series, and he's never really brought into the light until the very end. And then you just see how insanely powerful he is. So, I would like to see that. We're likely going to get an Aang deck. I wonder what they'll do if they'll do like an Aang, Toph, Katara, Zuko style set of decks that are the 4, just like red, green, blue, white. If we're just going to get like the 4 elements of commander decks, and then maybe a 5th one that could be something else, possibly with like a mix of black and something else with Sozin, maybe.
I mean, if I had to guess right now, we're probably going to get minimum of 4 commander decks. Would be smart.
We gotta do something with the elements.
I have a feeling we'll get one from the Earth Kingdom, one from the air, one from water, one from fire.
Water Tribe. I like Water Tribe.
But I think that we could be getting 5.
I would like to see 5.
I think that 5th one.
Main things. Yeah.
I think that 5th one could be Aang himself.
That's like a 5 color, you think?
5 or a 4. I don't necessarily think a 5 color. I'll be honest, I don't think we'll see much black in this set.
If we do, it'll be coupled with the Fire Kingdom.
Yeah.
Or the Fire Nation stuff.
Well, actually, no, disregard. The Aang that was spoiled is a 5 color commander.
Is it? Well, I thought it was just 4 color.
Look at his flip side. Spells you cast cost Wooburg less to cast.
Ah. That's true.
So, that Avatar Aang could end up being a 5 color commander that we get for this deck.
Potentially, because we don't know what the set symbol on him is.
Yeah. That set symbol could be the commander decks, for all we know. And with that, I could see us getting a Prince Zuko Fire Nation deck.
Yep.
Probably, if I had to guess, it would be Katara from the Water Tribe.
Most likely.
Easily see probably Toph from Earth Kingdom. Then the Air Nomads.
Either Toph or Boomy.
Yeah, Boomy could be a good one too. Or even Suki. But
Suki, I think, would be in the 99.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would. Because, like, they gotta have the main cast, right? You gotta emphasize the main characters and put them in the forefront. So, you know, the Aang group, or I'm already forgetting what they're actually called.
The Air Nomads?
No, the main group of them.
I don't even know what they call themselves.
Gang. It's a gang. It's like Aang, but with gang, so the gang. And so, yeah, we're likely going to have, like, Zuko, Toph, Katara. And if we don't get the 5, if that's not the commander, then I would assume a mono-white Aang deck where he's just, like, his young, goofy...
Yeah.
Like, before he embraces his avatar way, he's just, like, the silly, goofy kid from, like, early in the seasons, like, early in the show.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Because... Air Kingdom...
I want to see what this what these bending abilities are, the fire bending, water bending. I want to see what I'm
Yeah,
curious what those
I'm
are.
very interested in those. It's got to be something like firebending. Maybe it's
Just
pinging
like burn
someone.
damage.
Yeah,
Yeah, like pinging, and that one makes
it's
sense. I don't know what water bending and earth and air could be.
maybe water
Air
bending
maybe
is
bouncing?
yeah. Air Kingdom would be bouncing.
Like bounce something back into the
Uh,
hand.
Water Kingdom, I would assume, is either like uh, card draw, maybe.
Yeah, I mean the things like they were known for healing and ice stuff. So like there could be a lot. They had like a lot of ice attacks and things. It would be cool if we saw a blue black character based around bloodbending.
Ooh.
That would be cool because I like bloodbending. Bloodbending was badass. So if we see something like that, I'd probably be all over that. Seeing that for the first time was insane.
Yeah, I remember that. But
So there are ways they can incorporate black into this.
yeah, because this article that I'm looking at right now, based on the nations, what they're saying that they think they could be is Fire Nation, Rakdos, the Water
Okay.
Tribe as Azorius,
Interesting.
the Earth Kingdom, either a mono green or Selesnya, the Air Nomads, mono white, and Dai Li as Simic.
Dai Li.
I don't remember who that is, to be honest with you. Dai Li Avatar. Oh, it's the secret police force
Oh.
of
Okay.
Ba Sing Se.
Well, there is no war in Ba Sing Se, so. Alright, well, this, I think that'll be cool. Even though we're. Because that's the whole thing, right? Like, we are still. We do like these universes beyond. I want the big takeaway from this not to be that we're hating on universes beyond and we think they should just cut them out completely and just go back to pure magic universes.
Oh,
That's
God,
not
no.
what. That's not what our message is. It's more so just maybe cut back a little bit on them. Let do some more in universe, in lore stuff.
Give me 1 to 2 a year and I'll be happy.
Right, like maybe
Like
not because it's just over. Like, that's the biggest keyword I think is just it's oversaturated. There's just a lot of it. It's too much. They're not as they don't feel as
Impactful.
unique, at least to me. Like they're not
No.
as impactful. They're not as unique. It's
Like-
not as cool to see in the timeline. Oh snap! There's Final Fantasy. Holy shit! What that's gonna look like?
No,
And I
like
was just
when
oh,
we got the
there's-
Dungeons and
it's-
Dragons 2 sets.
That was wild.
Those
That
were
was
great.
Cool as hell.
When we got freaking Lord of the Rings. I remember you and I talked on the phone.
Bro, I didn't
in
near
chat.
crap my pants when I saw Lord of the Rings. I was
And
like, holy
then we
fuck,
found out it
where's
was
this
a
coming
full
from?
set. We're like, holy fucking
Right?
shit.
That was cool, man.
And now it just feels like
And even the Assassin's Creed was like, holy fuck,
Yeah.
dude, Assassin's Creed. I bought way too much of Assassin's Creed.
I did too.
I put way too much into that one.
Especially
I saw
cons-
Kenway, I saw my pirates. Yeah,
I put way too
That
much
one
in,
was-
especially considering it was such a
Yeah.
small set.
right.
110
I have way
cards.
too many cards of that.
I bought like 2 boxes of it. And
I bought 3.
yeah. And I'm sitting there, I'm like,
I bought 3 trying to pull an Ezio for Claire. So
yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. With what I bought on this, I could have just bought all the singles.
yeah, yeah.
But
So we do love these UBs. We like the IPs. We think they're cool. When I saw Transformers come to Magic,
Oh my God.
that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I thought, as a big fan of those, and I think it definitely comes to a base by base thing. If you're a fan of the IP, you're going to be excited. If you're not, you're going to be like, meh, it's whatever, right? So, these are tailored towards, they're cool things that they know people will like, and it is just geared to get new players in, which I think is cool. I always love seeing new people come to Magic. I think it's a great way to get them in. I also feel like, though, you could, if you can't rely on your own in-universe stuff to attract new players,
They're doing something wrong.
then there's something kind of rough with that. Like, you should be able to attract people in based on your own in-lore stuff rather than relying on, oh, look, Spider-Man. You like this. It's Spider-Man. You need to get into magic.
I think
Spider-Man. It's
I
like,
think the biggest
well,
issue right now is WotC doesn't know what they're doing with the story. Because even for the past
it doesn't
2
seem
or
to
3
be-
years, there hasn't really been a cohesive story. There's no
I think
big
the
bad
last-
guy.
The last one we had was the Phyrexians.
Yeah.
That was
Like-
the last one. The Alvelby one, the March of Machines and all that, March of Madness.
Yeah, like,
The
I want
the
these
invasion
sets.
of the Phyrexians was it. That was the last big
Yeah. Like,
blowout.
I want each of the sets every year
Yeah.
to have one big final set with some cool fucking shit in it.
We
Like
could have
last,
had it with Tarkir.
Yeah.
We could have had Dragonstorm with the huge Dragonstorm stuff. We could have had it.
like last year,
That could have been the first year. The
I mean,
first half of
last
the
year we had-
all dragons.
we had fucking Villain Cowboys, which great set. I love the
Yeah.
set, but it made no sense. And
Yeah, I don't remember much of that one.
Ether
I
Drift,
do have a still lead deck, so I do like.
yeah, like I enjoyed the set, but it made no sense lore wise.
That. Yeah.
I mean, then you had
Ether Drift was a
Drift.
cool like speed racer style thing.
Yeah.
But that's
Like Ether Drift was a cool set, but it makes no
aesthetically,
sense.
visually, it was cool.
Yeah, but it makes no sense.
I couldn't tell you what the story was.
No, makes no sense at
Actually,
all.
no, I do have some idea of what that story was. It was
Something with Chandra getting the freaking.
Chandra wanted to
there.
get the Ether Spark to help out Nissa.
Yeah,
I remember that. Chandra wanted to help out Nissa getting the spark back. Because, like, they lost all their, Planeswalkers lost their sparks when they became Phyrexians.
Yep.
So, that was a whole deal there. Which I guess was cool. Like, I like Speed Racer. I think the Death Race style stuff is cool as hell, so I was on board with that. But that's, like, the cool bit. It's like, the in-lore stuff can do anything you want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I do think is kind of cool.
I mean, they're going to fucking space.
Right, like, we can do that. We can have a set all about dragons. We can have a set about Speed Racer style shit. And then we can go to fucking space. And that's all still in lore, because it's massive multiverse. This shit can exist anywhere.
And that's part of
You
the
shouldn't
thing
have to
that
rely on IPs
no,
to...
but that's
random
part of the
IPs
thing
to
that
get
bothers
the
me
stuff.
about like this year though is there's no correlation between Ether Drift, Dragonstorm, Edge of Eternity that we know
I'm
of.
sure there is some line there. There's gotta be some kind of connection between the three somewhere that we might have to dig for. I honestly don't know. I
But
couldn't tell you.
I haven't seen anything between Ether Drift and Dragonstorm. Haven't read anything either. If I'm wrong on
Yeah.
this, people watching, let us know, please.
Yeah, please let us know. Like, if there's the lore buffs out there that know this stuff, let us know. Because otherwise, it just seems like, oh, we went here. Okay, then now we're here. Oh, okay, now we're up here. It's like, where's the dots? Can we connect the dots, please? Can I see some connectivity to why we're going from here to here to here?
Like, I mean, I was
Where it's all
bummed with
gonna-
I was bummed in Ether Drift
Yeah.
because we went back to Amonkhet. I love Amonkhet. It's one of my favorite planes. But
for the briefest of seconds.
yeah, I'm like, oh. And then we got the other plane there. I always forget what it's called. That was in there with the big ass freaking dinosaurs in it.
I couldn't tell you.
It was a new plane that we haven't been to before. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, why the fuck are we going to this plane for the first time in a different set? And then we hear nothing about the lore of the world.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we went to Kaladesh. Well, not
Yeah.
Kaladesh anymore, whatever the fuck they want to call it. But give us a story, guys. Give us
Yeah.
a point to these sets other than Wizards making money. That's all I ask for. I don't think it's that hard. But I'm also not a card designer. But with that,
Yeah, I think ultimately they are good. They are cool. It is cool and fun to see these guys, to see characters we love, to see these other unique IPs that we love come into a game we love. I'll tell you what, if they make a Star Wars one, I'm gonna need to change my pants 3 times over.
Yeah, like, if Star Wars comes to Magic,
if I see Star Wars drop in the next year or so, it's gonna be brutal. My wallet's gonna cry.
Yeah.
my wallet and credit card are gonna be weeping. Please, Daddy, no. And I'm just like, yes. So.
Yeah, that's gonna be dangerous for me, especially once they finally do it. I mean, the fact that we got Marvel makes me hopeful that we're gonna get a Star Wars UB.
It's not too. I mean, they're already going to space, right? We're already in space. We're already doing Edge of Eternities, and it's gonna be unique, I think, to see these. So, I think final takeaway should be, we love Universes Beyonds. We think they're cool and unique. I think we can agree that we just want to see a little bit less of them.
Yeah.
To let the in-universe stuff grow a bit more and be more fleshed out.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back when I was playing, we had the freaking whole Nicol Bolas thing.
Yeah.
Then you had the Planeswalkers losing their sparks because of that fight.
Yep. That was wild.
Then,
had to get that back. That was insane.
Which was awesome. And then...
Yeah.
Then we had the Planeswalkers that were still alive without their sparks. Oh, now the Phyrexians are here. Well, you guys are weak.
Bro, that was insane. Seeing like half of them turn into Phyrexians.
Dude,
it made me so happy.
When
I
Nissa and Ajani got caught up in all that stuff. Now, Nissa...
Bro, the fact that Ajani was a sleeper agent the entire time blew my balls off. I was like, wait a minute. It was him the whole time?
Yeah. Like,
he was a Phyrexian this whole time?
Like, fucking I love Ajani. Obviously, most of you guys know by now, Nissa is my favorite Planeswalker.
Yep.
Seeing her get turned, seeing Ajani be the sleeper agent, I was like, holy fucking shit. I think I texted you when that first released about Nissa, and I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? Like, I was pissed off.
Like, they're perfect. She's finally perfect.
I'm like, I know you're huge into the Phyrexians, but like for me, that pissed me off. I'm like, what the fuck? In a good way.
What did they do to my girl?
In a great way. And
that was so good.
But give us stories we actually care about, like,
or at least something, some cool in-lore stuff that can branch out and maybe even lead into and tie into a Universes Beyond thing.
Yeah, like, you know? I heard a rumor going
something
around.
Something crazy like that.
I heard a rumor going around that Kellen is going after and chasing loot because loot is a way to reset everything.
Interesting.
And apparently this one speculator has a theory that once Kellen actually catches loot, then the entire thing is going to reset back to square one. Which, if that happens, and we go back to fucking Ice Age level shit, and they can just, at that point, they can rewrite every story that they already did and change the outcome.
Just hit the nuke button. Hit the big reset.
Could you freaking imagine being able to go back to like Kamigawa for the first time? And
that's insane.
Like, just look at these.
I like Neon Dynasties. That was
cool. Neon Dynasties was cool, but just imagine the possibilities of stories that you can tell, and it could be considered an alternate timeline type of thing. Like,
oh yeah, well they did that with Sarkin. Sarkin fucking reset a bunch of shit with the dragons and Ugin and all that, and just like bro went back in time and pulled some timey-wimey bullshit and was like, no, he's alive. He's fine.
They could do a whole story arc.
I'm not crazy anymore. It's all good.
They could do a whole story arc where Nissa and all them fail on Zendikar.
Oh, and the
Eldrazi win. Like, they can change the outcome of every single one. Like, that could be cool for frickin' story and gameplay, lore-wise. Like,
there you go.
There's so much shit that they could do. But
the door's open.
We'll see.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
And WotC, if you ever want ideas, get a hold of me. I'll sit and I'll shatter my brain. But with that,
all day, every day. Remember to like and sub if you enjoyed.
Boom.
Leave a comment. Or don't. You know.
As always, I'm Kava,
This has been Jack.
and we will catch you guys all next time. Take care, everyone.
Have a good one, folks.